Hello everyone, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure Casey Jones. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at him in packaging, then I'm going to take a look at the figure and his accessories, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts on him. And just remember, if you do like this review, go ahead and check out my Ninja Turtle playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So without any further ado, let's get to the review. So here he is in packaging. I like the overall packaging for this figure. I like how it has the comic book art here on the bottom. You got the Eastman and Laird's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Casey Jones. Alright, you have this nice window here where you can see the figure, all his accessories, Nickelodeon, and NECA. Spin them around this way, you get some more comic book art, which I always love when they put comic book art. The Turtles logo, Nickelodeon, and NECA. Alright, spin it around here. You get a good couple of photos of the action figure, which is really cool. You get Meanwhile. So I always like when they put like little tidbits like this to really give you that comic book feel. Oops, let's turn that a little bit. There we go. You got the NECA logo. All the other figures that came out in this wave. And then you spin them around here. And once again, more comic book art, which is always a plus. I always love when they have comic book art. And the Turtles logo. You spin it around to the top. Got Nickelodeon, your age restriction and choking hazards, the Turtle logo, and then underneath you got your skew and legal. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. So here he is out of packaging. I think he's a really good looking figure. I like the overall look to him. I like the detail in his clothing. They do the standard black lines and stuff on him to indicate that he's a comic book character. So first off, let's start with the rotation. So you have this side. You have the back. This side. And back around to the front. Now, he has some cool detail to him. So, first off, I love how they did the hockey mask on him. That looks really nice. Very nice detail. And now, this is not removable from this head. So, this head, the hockey mask is on their standard. Like I said, you got all these black lines and stuff that shows you that, yes, this is designed off of a comic book character. Alright. I even like his white tennis shoes. They're very 80s, 90-ish design, which would make sense because that's around when the comics came out. So I like all this little extra bits of detail that just gives him a sense of character. So now let's start looking at his points of articulation. So the head does move. You have a shoulder joint with a swivel. You have an elbow joint and a wrist joint. And get these arms up. I believe there is... No, oh man, these joints are pretty tight on him. He does move. There it goes. Alright. So he does swivel. Spin him around this way. You have a thigh joint. A knee joint. You have a swivel here at the top of the boots. Alright. And you have an ankle joint. Now, I did get him moving, as you see his joints moving. Some of his joints are a little bit on the tight side, so if you want to, for good measure, you may want to soak a few of these joints in hot water before you really start moving them, because this joint moved pretty well, but you know, it was kind of iffy, so it scared me a little bit. And at the top of the boots are a little tight too, so this figure, you may want to soak in some hot water just in case. Even though I was able to get stuff to move, it felt very tight. So you may want to use hot water with him at your discretion. So now let's start looking at his accessories. So first off, he comes with a head without the mask. Looks pretty angry. Alright, he comes with a couple alternate hands. So he has this hand here. Alright, this hand here, which is a gripping hand. And then he also has this hand as well. Now he has a set of alternate arms too. So he has these arms with these wraps on them, which is really cool looking. Alright, so you have this one as well. Alright, so now he has a couple of hands designed specifically for those. So you have this open hand. Alright, you have a holding hand. You have this holding hand. Alright, and you also have this one. Now he does come with a hockey mask that isn't on the figure, so you have a loose hockey mask. You have the iconic baseball bat, so he has one. And then he has two. Alright, he has his iconic hockey stick. Alright, a golf club. And he has an umbrella. That's an interesting choice, but yes, he does have that. And last but not least, he has his bag to store it all in. Okay, so I decided to take my own device and soak some of these parts in hot water because his joints are really making me nervous. So I wanted to make sure that everything moves fine without breaking them. The last thing you want to do is break your figure. So first off, let's pop this head off. Alright, that came off. Just pop that. Ooh, hot. There we go. Head pops on very well after heating. I don't have any issues with that. So first off, we're going to swap one of these arms. We're not going to swap both arms just because of the factor of time. Oh, damn, that's hot. Ooh. All right, we'll swap this arm out. So let's see how easily this arm comes off. Yeah, see, I'm not liking that. That's like really tightly in there. So let's let that arm soak for a minute. Really work that joint. So there's a lot of really tight joints on him. So I would highly recommend hot water for a lot of this. All right, let's see how easily that pops out now. Yeah, see. All right, so even with the hot water, I really have to work to get these arms in and out. All right, so 100% I recommend hot water for this figure. If you're going to be swapping out any of these joints, any of these arms, I would definitely go 100% hot water with this figure. So what we're going to do is we're going to get out our hot water thing here. Hold on, let me grab my tweezers. So what we're going to do is we're going to use one holding hand for each hand, because I figure if one hand will work, then all the other ones will work as well. Oh, see, man, even the elbow joints are really tight on him. So that's in there. Oh man, dude, I'm not liking this. Let that soak for a minute. So yeah, definitely a lot of joints that need to be heated up. Yeah, see how much easier that elbow moves? And even with that, man, you know, you get a little bit of iffy play in there. So now let's swap this hand out. Oops. All right. So with hot water, the hands swap out pretty easily. No issues. All right. So now we're going to go through the weapons. I'm going to try one in each type of hand. So for example, baseball bats, I'll put one in this hand. So I figured if it fits in this hand, it'll fit in the other one. All right. So you got that bat there with that type of hand. And I'm only doing that for time purposes, you know. So as you can see, that hand works really well with this bat. This hand works really well with that bat. So they work well with the bats. All right, we'll go golf club with this. All right. Golf club doesn't sit very well, to be honest with you. It looks to be a hair too small for these hands. Alright. But the umbrella fits in fine. No issues. As you can see, the golf club is really, really loose in there. You know, very loose fit. I don't think he has a hand that's designed to be smaller for that. So the golf club doesn't fit very well in his hands. Alright, now we're going to do the hockey stick. And of course it's a hockey stick, so you have to do a two-hand hold. Alright, so you got that hand in there. And that hand in there. So the hockey stick fits fine in his hands. No issues with that. So for the most part, all his weapons fit very well in his hands. And you should be able to get the hockey mask onto this head. So if you prefer to have this look, you know, without the white eyes, you can do that. And the mask also lines up with his eyes inside. So if you'd rather have this look with the mask, you know, around them, and you can see the eyes opposed to the white eyes. Like if you look at this one, you got the white eyes, which are more comic book like, opposed to this one that looks a little bit more realistic. You could do that as well. Now the last thing he comes with is his iconic, you know, golf club bag. Alright. And you may have to actually take off the head for this. I don't know yet. Yeah, you might have to pop the head off because it don't look like this is going to want to go around. Oh, maybe. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so it's loose enough to where you can get it on. Alright, I was almost afraid that it wouldn't work, but it did work. So that's a plus. Alright, hockey stick. So we'll put the hockey stick in, the two bats, the golf club, and then also the umbrella. So everything fits nicely in there, but I'm going to assume I'm going to have the same problem with this Casey that I have with all the other ones, that it all fits in there very loosely. And that has always been an issue I had with a bunch of these Casey Joneses with their you know, bags, is that everything just falls out really easily. It's really loose. So, but at the end of the day, it all actually does fit in there. So my final thoughts on him is that he is a good figure. He looks really good. Definitely captures the whole look of the comic books. You know, so his overall look is really good. I like all the details, even with his weapons. How it has the gray taping on it, on top of the wood. So I think that's really good. I like all the detail work to it. Now, the one thing that I highly recommend to do with this figure is heat the joints before you do anything. Alright? I use hot water. Some people like to use a heating gun. Of course, heating guns, you run the risk of actually melting the figure. But however you heat your figures, I would highly recommend that, because his joints are really tight. The same with swapping out heads and arms and everything. As you saw, even with the hot water, it's still a little bit difficult to get this arm on and off. So I would highly recommend that you heat him up before you really do anything, because a lot of these joints are really thin. Right here, let's even get a look, close look. Look how thin of an arm that is. And that's, of course, the character. So you really would run the risk of breaking these joints if you don't heat them. Okay. Other than that, all his pieces swap out very easily once you heat it. The head swaps out easy. The hands swap out easy. Like I said, the shoulders are a little bit difficult, but they do swap out. His weapons interchange in his hands very well. I didn't have any issues with any of his weapons. I have the standard problem with him that I have with pretty much almost all the other Casey Jones figures, is that everything sits really, really loose in the pack. So if you move him around a little bit, everything's falling all over the place. So other than that, he's a good figure. I would recommend him for your collection, especially if you're into the old Eastman and Laird comic books. Then he's definitely a good piece to have with your collection. So with that being said, I hope you all did like this review. If you did, go ahead and check out my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles playlist and hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.